Welcome to the Chris Hanna Show, where business, as usual, gets a swift kick in the ass. If you're tired of the same old advice and ready to disrupt the status quo, you're in the right place. I'm cutting through the noise with bold strategies, unfiltered truths, and a no-nonsense approach to entrepreneurship, video marketing, and content creation. Buckle up, because it's time to level up, stand out, and dominate your market. This isn't just another podcast, it's a wake-up call for entrepreneurs and would-be aspiring solopreneurs who are all in. Let's get started. Faking it till you make it is bullshit. On this week's episode of the Chris Hanna Show, that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Because when I think about this journey of building my own business, there's been times where I have faked it, right? I have pretended to be someone that I'm not. And that has led to a lot of challenges. It's the same thing in my career, right? Like I definitely felt inauthentic through about 20 years of my career where I pretended to fit in with the organizations that I worked with. I pretended to be the leader that they wanted me to be. And I think probably the reason I got fired now twice in my career is because they eventually figured it out. I was an imposter. I wasn't the person that they needed in their business. It just wasn't for me. I couldn't follow, what they wanted to do, and they eventually saw through that. Totally cool with it. It's not a bad thing at all. But in my business side, I also realized that being inauthentic is dangerous and pretending can backfire. Let's give you a couple examples. So if you are a longtime listener or viewer of this show, you know that I initially launched my business, and it was a hiring business. Before all in content, before I was batch creating videos, I had a company called Hire For Me. And we would go and we would hire for businesses, and make life easier for them, making it as done for you as possible, right? You basically tell me you need to hire a role. I'll go out and I'll research what the best way is to create a job posting. I will then ask all those candidates for a video as part of the application process, and I will sort through and I will do everything, and I'll get you a short list of 2 candidates at the end, and hopefully you can pick one of those 2 candidates, and they're a great fit for your business. So that's what I did. The reason I talk about it from an inauthentic perspective is that I'm convincing solopreneurs, people to, stop wearing all the hats to hire. And I never hired in my business at Hire For Me. It obviously didn't have the revenue for it. It was a brand new company. But I felt inauthentic doing it. Here I am telling people to do all this, and I haven't done it myself. Again, they're more established than I was, but you know what I mean. So I felt inauthentic. Because I felt inauthentic, I believe to this day, that's part of the reason why that company was really not successful. Because it didn't come across as me being really this recruiting expert living kind of my brand and ideals. And I didn't feel like Hire For Me was me. I wasn't doing an area where I was the best at it either. And so then when you're inauthentic, I think it hurts you. And you don't come across genuine. Therefore, I don't think that's why people ultimately decided they wanted to work with me. Like I had a few consultations, made, I don't know how much money. I made whatever money I did, but it wasn't enough to sustain us. Now, when we fast forward, me doing what I do now, all in content, it's more legit, right? Like this is stuff that like I've done this for the last 6-7 years, right? Like I've batch recorded content myself for my own personal brand. I've done it with clients. I've produced thousands and thousands of videos, batch recording it. That's 100% me. I'm way more successful. People actually can buy that and understand that. Like when I would do events before with Hire For Me and webinars, I'm like, it just didn't feel like me. It felt like I was lying the whole time. So the danger of authenticity is I think it backfires and people see through it. And it means it just doesn't work. Now, as I continued to evolve, who I was and, really dive into all in content, I have to think like, was I ever doing anything that was inauthentic? because like I do want to practice what I preach, because I see a lot of people out there who are posting similar type of content to me, maybe similar type of businesses in some respects, and they're somewhat maybe disingenuous. They're not as authentic. And so I went through in October of 2023. I kind of launched the company in September, just the month prior. I decided I'm going to create content. I'm going to batch create it. I batch create 227 videos in one day. I go through and I schedule all those videos out so that my next year has really got stuff flowing and going for me. And I feel good about it, right? Like I basically put like the best videos first and everything. And then as the months went on, as I'm going through the content that's getting posted out, I start to realize that I did some topics that I don't believe in. And I'm like, why is this the case? Right? Why am I putting content out that I don't believe in? And then I realized I relied way too much for that 227 videos on AI. I generically asked AI to come up with video topics for me, and it did. And I put my own spin on everything, but a good percentage of videos were not me. So, recognizing that, I then deleted all those videos. A lot of videos then that I did record at 227, I ended up not releasing because they weren't authentically me. I didn't feel like I could honestly put myself out there for the world talking about shit that I had no business talking about. And I got called out on this by some. I put some videos out before I realized this, talking about some stuff that was garbage, and people actually then did make comments and respond saying, that's bullshit. Like that's something like that's, you have no business talking about this, because I'm talking about how to get high views and going viral. Well, the videos themselves were not performing well. So how can I be authentically talking about that? And to me, like, that's actually not what I talk about. I don't talk about going viral. That's not my lane. I talk about showing up consistently, being there every single day. I'm not talking about getting you that. I can get you leads, right? But I'm not talking about going viral. But here isn't it? I put some content out about that. That's inauthentic. That's not me. Because then that realization, it dawned on me. And I'd heard it before, but I kind of ignored it. The concept of content pillars, right? If you don't know what content pillars are, these are basically the core categories, I'll call them, of topics that you are going to speak about in terms of content. Everything should be around this. So like if people looked at your content, what are the things that you are ultimately known for? So when I think about being inauthentic, I was like, I wasn't staying true to what I should be talking about. My core four that I have now that I've established, video strategy, batch creation, how to integrate video across your business, and advice for entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, like lessons kind of learned. That's what I'm talking about. I don't deviate from that. Like, yes, I'll throw in the odd personal thing here and there, depending on the channel, but I'm staying true to that lane, as opposed to talking about how to hack the algorithm and social media stuff like that, like going viral. Like, that's not it. That's not the stuff that I should be talking about. Because being inauthentic, trying to fake it and become something that I wasn't, again, made no sense. Like being an imposter in your business and maybe people feeling just inauthentic in general makes you almost hate your business. So like, I don't hate my business by any stretch of the means, but when I found myself like, why am I putting out these videos that are not something that I believe in, not something that I really want to talk about and do, just for the sake of putting out, I'm going to say the quantity, it made me really question a lot and realize, yes, I can help you create a lot of content, but I'm not going to go and pitch people now on, hey, we can generate a year's worth of content in one day. Because I did that initially and I got some people to sign up with it. Because then the content's not as good. It needs to be quality over quantity. Now, we can definitely, from a quality and quantity perspective, find that our sweet spot is giving you 3 months worth of content. That's what we'll do. So we'll do that over 3 or 4 hours. But we're not trying to stretch beyond that now at this point. It's not cost effective. We actually did the math on that, and I was losing so much money. But by not going so crazy with quantity, we actually now get the right quality and we get authentic content. We're not stretching, talking about shit that we shouldn't talk about with ourselves or with clients. The other thing I'll say about not faking it till you make it is that being authentic helps you win. You will see better results if you lean into authenticity as a business strategy, because people buy from people. They want to work with people that they know, like, and trust. If they can pick up the fact that you are genuine, you are real, you are honest, they will more likely want to work with you. Being real, that we simplify it, being real attracts clients. Being fake repels clients. So don't live in a fantasy world where you are bullshitting people. Don't try and fake it till you make it. Be the honest, real, true you. I look back on early parts of my personal journey, like 6-7 years ago. I'm sitting there and I'm going to events and I'm calling myself a consultant when I maybe only consulted like 1 or 2 companies. You can't call yourself a consultant. You can't call yourself a fucking business coach. You can't call yourself any one of these number of things unless you've actually done it. So the reason why I maybe wasn't successful with some of those other endeavors because I didn't actually do it. The reason I'm successful now is because I actually do it. I batch create content. That's what I do. I help businesses make video so much easier for them, and I help them show up consistently online. Nobody does that better than me in my entire area. But it took me a while to realize the power of that, the power of just being me. When I look back in my career, I was successful, but I was not happy. And I wasn't happy because I wasn't being me. I wasn't getting to be the honest person who I am. Now in my business, you get the real me. Whether you like me or not, and some people don't. I am the real me. In my corporate world, I never got to be the real me. When I was trying to fake it as a early, coach talking about customer experience and employee experience, that wasn't me. That was what I thought I needed to be to generate revenue. Now what you get is me. Like, even if I had to go back, we're now many episodes and seasons into the Chris Hanna Show, my podcast. It has evolved a lot since day one. Those early episodes, they're not me. But the stuff you've been getting this season, it's all me. It's the true, unfiltered, honest, at times, I guess, uncensored me. And I think we're better for it, just to be me. It's easier as well when you're just being yourself. So anyways, here's the lesson. Don't fake it till you make it. If you hear somebody say that to you, tell them to fuck off. It's the worst thing you can possibly do. Just be you. Be the authentic, real you, and you will see success. You will win. Again, authenticity will attract clients. Being inauthentic repels and pushes them away. All right, that's it for this week's episode of the Chris Hanna Show. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you've got questions on anything you want to connect, hit me up, send me a DM, and we'll see you next time. All right, that's a wrap for today's dose of reality on the Chris Hanna Show. If you're fired up and ready to kick some serious ass, then I've done my job. But remember, knowledge without action is just wasted breath. So what are you going to do? Sit around and let opportunities pass you by? Or are you going to step up and take what's yours? The choice is yours, but don't expect sympathy if you choose the easy road. If you've got value from today's episode, smash that subscribe button, leave a review, or share it with somebody who needs a wake-up call. Don't keep this gold to yourself unless you're afraid of a little competition. Stay bold, stay hungry, and remember, always go all in. Until next time, this is Chris Hanna signing off. Now go out there and take what's yours.